Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about the multiple unit measure integration between Dynamics 365 Business Central and Dynamics 365 Sales. So in the October 2021 Business Central Wave 2 release, Microsoft added this feature into the feature management. So on my screen, you could see there's a feature update, multiple units of measure synchronization with Dynamics 365 Sales. So this feature is added in October this year, 2021. And so the concern for this is like you may track the inventory in your system like with one unit measure, like for example, it's piece. And then when you sell to your customers, you may sell it in different unit measure, like you can sell them in carton, you can sell them in box, or you can sell them in pack. So it could be all kind of different unit measure when you sell to the customer. But how you can integrate this multiple unit measure to your Dynamics 365 sales, and to have when you create a sales order or sales invoice in Dynamics 365 sales, you can use all different unit measure. So how you can push that multiple unit measure from Business Central to sales, it becomes a topic. So by using this feature, we can first, once you enable this feature, then it will generate two unit group. So the item unit group and the resource unit, it will generate two unit measure. If you go to the integration table mapping, then you will see there's an item unit measure and the resource unit measure added to the integration table mapping. And then there's also item unit measure groups and resource unit groups added. So if you go to your, this is my Dynamics 365 sales, and you can see on the product card, you have the default units. That's the base unit measure you set up in Business Central. But there's also a unit group. So this meant to be mapped to the item unit measure group, or resource unit measure group. So but I'm talking about the product. So this will be mapped to the item unit measure group. And then in that group, you can have different item unit measures. And then you can couple it from Business Central to your Dynamics 365 sales. So now let's take a look how this works. So let's enable this feature first. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change enable for from none to all users. Once you do that, so this is similar like you enable other Business Central feature. So you could see because the automatic enable, so let's go back. Just leave it for none for now. So you could see Microsoft will automatically roll out this feature to all the tenants and automatically enable it in the quarter 4 of 2022. So right now it's kind of give you a preview. If you manually enable it, you kind of have a preview of this feature. But if you don't enable it, Microsoft will automatically enable it in the quarter 4 2022. Okay, so we're gonna manually enable it. Let's change it to all users. Then you got this warning. It says after you enable this feature, then you cannot turn it off again. So this is an unreversible feature. Once you enable it, because there's a data upgrade in the background as well, so you cannot reverse this anymore. So this is because the feature may include changes to your data. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. And may initiate an upgrade of some database tables as soon as you enable it. So this is some recommendation from Microsoft. We strongly recommend that you first enable and test this feature on Sandbox. This is my production. Usually when you do this, if that's your production environment, you don't want to do it right away. You want to test in your Sandbox first before you turn it off, before you turn it on in your production. So that's why Microsoft recommends you to test it in the Sandbox environment first, and before you enable this in your production. Okay, and so we are gonna we're gonna enable this feature. Click on yes, and then we're gonna accept the data update. Then so we can take a look what data will be affected. You could see because after this feature is enabled, then it's going to create the item unit measure and the resource unit measure in the integration table mapping. And then, so that's why it's just saying like these two tables will get affected, item table and the resource table. Let's close it. So while I'm doing it, I'm gonna open another instance to show you what the current integration table looks like. Then I'm gonna take a screenshot. Then you could see after we enable this feature, then what is the compare with what you see it before, then what's the difference. So I'm going to the DataWorks connection setup. So because I have another video for like how you can create a connection between your Dynamics 365 Business Central and Dynamics 365 Sales and test the connection. So you can refer to that video for how to enable that. But we are going to focus on the unit measure table integration for this video. So like basically before you do anything, you should test that connection, make sure it's connected. Our connection test is successful, okay? And then, but the table I'm talking about is the integration mapping table. You can click on integration and the integration table mappings. So then I'm gonna take a screenshot for what you see right now. Then we can make a comparison after we did it, okay? So right now you only see these tables listed here. You don't see the item unit measure and the resource unit measure I talked about. You don't see those two tables here. But then we are good here, and we're going back and to finish our upgrade. Run in background session. No, yeah, it's fine. So we want to run it immediately. Run in background session is okay, but we want to run immediately. Okay, schedule. So you must send out and send back in again to make the changes take effect. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, you see a schedule data update is there, and then I'm gonna send out. Okay, so then that's send out, and then I'm gonna, it's good to close all the browser. I just want to close these Business Central browsers because I have my DataWorks and I have the Power Apps DataWorks open, and also I have the Dynamics 365 Sales open. So I'm just gonna open another browser session here. So we already sent out, then we are sending back in again. Okay, so now if we go to the feature management, that's where we enabled the multiple unit measure integration. Okay, so you could see here, and it shows it's already enabled for all users and the data update is completed, right? So this is good. Remember, we talked about that DataWorks connection setup in there. Then we have the integration table mapping. So let's go there and take a look again. So then we can compare with the screenshot we took before we enabled this feature. Okay, so let's go to the integration table mappings. Okay, so this is what I talked about. After you enable that feature, you could see this item unit measure and resource unit measure. These two tables will come out. It's not there before. Okay, so I'm gonna just put them side by side so you can see. I'm gonna cut this, then we can have some room there. Okay, so then we can put them side by side, then we can compare them. Okay, okay, so if you look at here, we do not have this item unit measure table, and we do not have this resource unit measure table before we enable that feature, right? So you could see previously after this posted sales in line invoice, then it's resource product, but it's inserted this here. And also previously after the item product is opportunity, but it inserted item, after the customer is item product, but now it insert item unit measure between the customer and item product. So these two tables mapping added after you enable that feature. So what we can do from here after we enable this feature, and also there's also, we can go to in the background, except for adding these two table mapping, it also added the item unit group. So let's take a look of the item unit group list. Okay, so this is what is added after we enable that feature. You could see it has a different code, and then it has a description, and it has the item number related to that group. So it has all different unit measure groups. And if we take a look of the unit groups from Dynamics 365, the unit group record is not coupled to data words. Do you want to create a couple? So let me see. I want to find that's, so the item number 1050, let's click on yes for now, okay? Because I forgot what my item 1050 is. I want to check that actually. But let's just, so the base unit name is this unit measure group, and the name is this. And to the integration table, our integration table is in the Dynamics 365 sales. So we want to use synchronize after coupling. We want to use the Business Central data because we are synchronize our unit measure, because we are synchronize our item unit measure table for those specific items to the Dynamics 365 sales. Okay, so we're gonna use the Business Central data. Okay, so data words, then we have to select the data words we want to use. Data words, the unit groups in data words. So these are in the Dynamics 365 cells. So this is the data words. So that's the unit group. And then let's say, we can say create a new. Let's create a new one. Okay. So because this does not match any of the existing ones, that's just to create a new one. So then we can click on OK. Conference bundle 1-6 is there. And currently on this item, on this product, is using the unit price group nav piece and the default units piece. Okay, that's fine. And let's just enable the coupling. We can set up the coupling from here, and then let's create a new, and then let's click on OK. The synchronization has been scheduled, but we want to synchronize right away. Let's say synchronize. Send data update to data words for unit group, this item. Let's click on yes. Okay, so it may take a while, but actually we could see we have this item units of measure group. We have this group appeared after we did that, right? And created these. The first step you have to do in that integration table is actually you have to synchronize them. You have to synchronize item unit measure, and then so just say run full synchronization. Full synchronization is scheduled. So usually if you modify some records, like previously I only have piece on the item, I modify some records and added some other unit measure like the box and pack, then I only want to synchronize those modified records. I can just click on synchronize modified records. But because we never synchronized item unit measure table and the resource unit measure table before, we should run a full synchronization first. Okay. Then after you did that, if you want to check the status of your synchronization, you can go to Synchronization Job Log. So from here, let's take a look. So we have something trigger from today's date and trigger from the current time, 31. So we are trying to run the full synchronization for this item unit measure table from Business Central to Dynamics 365 sales. And then we first we run the full synchronization, and then we run the just the synchronized or modified records. That we tried both. So, but let's see. It doesn't have any message, but it says inserted, modified. Right now it shows 0. So it didn't show any error, but it also does not show any records has been inserted in Dynamics 365 Sales yet. Okay, so what we can do, because we haven't coupled the record yet, let's couple it first. Okay, integration couple match base coupling. You are about to couple Business Central records to DataWorks entities from the selected mapping based on the matching criteria that you must define. The coupling will run in the background so you can continue with other tasks. So what we are going to do, we are not using any filter for the Atom Unit Measure table. And the to integration table is the CRM unit measure, and the integration field is the units. Okay, so we are just running this coupling. So we want to couple that. Quantity per unit measure then is synchronized after coupling. Okay, we want to synchronize after we couple the records between Business Central and the CRM. So create a new if unable to find a match. That's fine. We want to enable that as well. And the field name in Business Central is this code. And the integration field name on CRM is name. So, and the quantity per unit measure is in Business Central, and this quantity is in the CRM. Okay, so we want to see case sensitive. It doesn't matter. Case sensitive, match priority, we can leave it. Match on this field, no, we can leave them. We just want to let's take a look. Specify whether to match on this field when looking for the entity to couple to. We do want to match to that field. Let's just enable those. No, you see, like after I click on this, it changed those two check mark. Okay. Okay, there's something there, but let's just leave them. Let's just click on OK. And match-based coupling is scheduled. The details are available on the integration synchronization jobs page. So let's go to the integration synchronization job page again. We don't see anything here. Okay, so because it's running in the background, it may take some time. Since we already synchronized some Atom Unit Measure group, so if you go to your Dynamics 365 cells, then you could see they will be in the unit measure groups. So because my Dynamics 365 cells is kind of like still have this tenant still haven't completely upgraded to the latest unified interface, so you could still see it's kind of I have to go to the advanced settings from here, and then from the advanced settings, then I have to go to the menu from the advanced settings. Then you could see all the menus. So let me just show you. But basically, if you're already using unified interface, then you should be able to see your product catalog at the bottom. And then you should be able to see it directly by clicking on the product catalog. But for me, because this tenant is not completely upgraded to the unified interface, I have to go to the advanced settings, and from there click on settings and click on product catalog, and then click on unit groups. So you could see the ones I tested in Business Central before, they already have this unit group synchronized to my Dynamics 365 sales. And in Business Central, if you want to synchronize a specific Atom Unit Measure to your Dynamics 365 sales, what you need to do is like you can. So I just added the new unit measure in the Atom Unit Measure for this item 1920-S, and this is called Antwerp Conference Table. So I just added another unit measure box, and the conversion factor between box and the base unit measure piece is 10. So which means 10 pieces will make one box. And then after you did this, if you just want to synchronize this record, you can click on Related, and then click on Dynamics 365 Sales, click on Set up the coupling. Then from this screen, then you can see this will be populated. Then we can just click on OK. But initially, before you send it, you can click on Turn on Create a New. Now, but because I already did it, so it just showed that there as a box. And after you did that, then you just click on related cells and click on this unit to see the result in Dynamic 365 cells for it, right? So once you click on that unit, it just tell you it's already created in your Dynamic 365 cells under the group. So this is the group we created under this group, and it's created this unit, which is box, and the conversion factor between this unit and the base unit measure is 10, okay? So it's already synchronized. So for the first time, if you want to couple this new unit to your Dynamic 365 cells, you can click on related, click on Dynamic 365 cells, click on coupling, click on setup coupling. So usually you want to push the Business Central data to your Dynamic 365 cells. You will select this option, yes, use the Business Central data. And then from here, the data words, if you click on the 3 dot, then you could see all the unit measures available to be coupled between Business Central to your Dynamic 365 cells. You could see there's some of them already says coupled yes, means you already did that action to couple them. If it says no, then you just need to couple it, because the item we are working on 1920-S, this one has not, the coupled shows no, so that's why we need to couple it, okay? And so we have to select this unit measure. This is where we want to couple it, and then we can click on OK. And after you did that, on the top you will see the synchronization has been scheduled. Then you click on the details to see when it's been done. So you could see if you have a message saying like send a message about status change of sales order. So that's another one. That's for the sales header, right? So because I have the automatic, I have the integration set up between Business Central and my Dynamic 365 sales for sales order as well. So that's why you could see it has a message there. But for this one, right now, it does not show any message yet. If it doesn't show you an arrow, this one for the item unit measure synchronization, if you don't see an error message, pretty much is successful. And also you can verify that because right now it says modified. And you will see inserted. The first time you send it, it will say inserted. And next time, if you change something, then you send it again, it will say modified. I previously tested by just send it, so that's why the previous record says inserted. This time I removed the coupling and then I send it again. That's why it shows under the modified. Okay, so that means it's working. And then you can also verify by click on related and click on Dynamic 365 sales and click on unit. This will bring you directly to the Dynamic 365 sales for that unit. You could see it's under this group, unit group, and also the new unit measure created in Dynamic 365 sales is the box, and the conversion factor is 10. So that's how you synchronize multiple unit measure between Business Central and Dynamic 365 sales. Thank you so much for watching this YouTube video. I hope to see you guys again next time.
Thanks for watching this Archer Point video. If you found it helpful, make sure to check out our website and blog at www.archerpoint.com. Additionally, if you have any questions regarding our products, services, or information in this video, feel free to email us at info@archerpoint.com. Thanks.